Okay, now I'm good.
All right, hitting go live. That's what I'm doing.
The button, you've pressed it.
Something like that.
You can never go back and not press it. You know?
True.
You can press it again, but it won't have the same effect. So what's the point? You know?
Also true.
I think they're here to see us talk about it.
Oh, there's people here? What's happening?
I mean, I like to think people at least vaguely enjoy our conversations. Why we do them, really, you know? We can talk by ourselves. Why not spread that interesting, informative knowledge, personality to you all? And at least you want to see Stuart's goatee and beard. I mean, that at least, you know.
Right, it's pretty hot. Anyway, guys, yes, we're back to talk about season 3 of Discovery.
The final. We're over the hump of the episode. Now we're in the sort of closing retrospective style stuff, aren't we?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about how it did
Or
for season.
did not.
Yes.
Do you like the picture I picked?
Yes.
It's just like stick landing.
Pretty great. Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't. I mean, it also didn't spoil anything. You know, I think we're quite keen on. I think now at this point, going forward, we can do spoiler-filled thumbnails. You know, but in uniform, except we say, you know, sad all the channels that were like, we have to put spoilers like the same day. You know, we have a little bit of more pause time if possible. But I think you know, now we're 4 days out. I think that's more fair.
Yeah, a lot of places that were like, no spoilers allowed for their spoiler thread had Michael sitting in the captain's chair with the new uniform. It's like, great, good job.
Yeah, yeah. So,
like, I don't even get it. I just,
yeah. Oh, bye, Stuart. But let's wait for him to call back. That happened the other day, though. There we go.
Well, that was a thing that happened.
Yeah, that happened like yesterday while we were filming. You just went away, and weirdly. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Hope it doesn't happen again.
Yes.
All right, 2 super chats. Dave Stelzer, $2.
Hey.
I'm actually on time for once. Good
Yes.
man, awesome. Danny Shields, €5. Thank you so much. Star Trek is awesome. Like Spike for my birthday. Ooh, happy birthday, Danny. Happy birthday. Hit the like button, guys, if you haven't already. 76 people watching with 48 likes. I'm sure we can make it work.
I feel like we should dedicate the likes in this video to Danny, regular. So therefore, if you want Danny to have a better birthday, the more likes on this video equals that. So, I mean, invent more YouTube accounts right now to like more. That is the way. You know, but do you want to read Martin or Marvin's comment as well?
Martin.
Marvin.
Marvin. Where is Marvin? Oh, Marvin Woodley. Hey, guys. Just got in from dialysis. Love you guys. You have helped me through dialysis, and I thank you. Well, glad we could help, and hope you're feeling better. And, yeah, awesome. Good to see you.
Hope you're on the road to recovery. It may be a long road, but hopefully you'll get there and look back at this time as saying, I mean, Trekyards awesome. Oh, and I had dialysis. Hopefully that's how you're... Not that we're saying that we're that awesome, just we kept your mind off it is what I was trying to say.
Yes, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly given you enough stuff to watch every day for the last 13 weeks and then 10 weeks before that, so...
6 years. 6 years.
Well, yeah, I don't think we'll dialysis for 6 years. Hopefully not. Anyway.
No.
But yes, happy birthday to Danny as well. If you want to put happy birthday to Danny as well in the chat. I know we're a big team here, so...
Yes.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Danny. Scott Purdy, within £2.
Thank
That hope is you. Who is that referring to? Michael.
Michael Burnham. Yes.
Same as the first episode of this fucking season.
And in reality, it's it's to Zaheel in the first episode probably, and to Starfleet in general in the second in the last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Fake Valentina puts in a £4.
Interesting name.
Are you expecting a new Enterprise in season 4? I mean, no, no. Maybe discussion of constructing a new Enterprise or something. Now that they got the lithium and they can do things, would make sense.
Yeah, I said to you that symbolically it would be a good, just like the D7 in season 2 of Discovery, to have them talk about building the Enterprise, in that we retired the Enterprise a long time ago because it was a symbol of hope, and we weren't, it was for other reasons. They say we haven't commissioned an Enterprise since the last one was destroyed 90 years ago. It'll be a symbol of hope. It'll take a year to complete. That would be fun.
And Saru will be captain.
Hey, maybe. And Zukal will be his Ensign Crusher,
Ooh, no. No.
Actually, to be fair, we might get something in season 4 where like Zakal is on a ship, like communing with the lithium to go faster. We need more power.
He'd be a great asset in that regard if he could access the lithium and use himself as a weapon against enemy ships. Like,
wow,
destroy the lithium, sir.
We're going X-Men here. That's to be fair, that's interesting. Give him a dilithium belt and lets him do like a dilithium wave. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Don't do that. Don't do it.
Just give him dilithium goggles so he looks like Cyclops.
Yes, he sees through the quantum plane of the dilithium crystal to fire a beam. But I do think we're going to have, Voyager is their equivalent of the Enterprise. And we may see like the Excelsior, J, or F, B, whatever. I think they're likely to incorporate more of the classic, because I don't use any name under the sun. I think we're likely to see those variants rather than the Enterprise herself, especially since we're going to have the Enterprise in Strange New Worlds, which will be then, not confusing because we're quite smart, but, which Enterprise do you mean? The new Enterprise or the new Enterprise? So I think they'll go for non-Enterprise. That's my bet.
Yeah. Awesome Sauce puts in €5 with no comment, but then he goes on to say right underneath that, viewer to like ratio is quite good, but I bet we can do better than that. Also, would like the Expanse clean visual effects style for Star Trek. Not that dirty lens like we have now. I don't know what you mean by dirty lens for visual effects, but...
that means like putting smudges, grit, blurry, fuzzy, black rim, just like a not clean, sexy. If you think of Voyager, you think nice, sexy pans. I think of Discovery Season 1, you think very dark, very contrasty, blurred, muck. So.
Gotcha. Well, they've been improving in that regard, for sure.
They repressed a little bit, I think, though, by being in the bubble, because there's no direct light source. Like, they kind of put themselves into a corner there. Season 2 was better, and 3, I think, took a little bit of a dip, but it's fluctuating. Depends where they are, Thanks for a nice planet, it lights better. If they're not, it's not,
Gotcha. Fake Valentina throws in £5. Also, do you think Starfleet and Federation will move their headquarters back to Earth? I think Earth will play a part in season 4, but I'm not sure if they'll move back. That'll be interesting. They don't have to, in my opinion, but I think that'll be a nice gesture if they do. And yeah.
Although obviously that will be a season 4 prediction video.
Ooh.
We are doing that dedicated this week, guys. We're doing, many lives this week to kind of finish off the zone of Discovery Season 3. But we do want to talk about the ending specifically and how it retroactively goes towards all of the other other episodes. But Stuart, I will start sharing to get out of the way. Already a good start so far. I'd love to see the 100 likes straight away. So I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, so let's see, 120 people here, 77 likes. We can easily hit 100 likes. Let's do that, guys. Thank you for everybody that super chatted. If you want to super chat, please feel free to do so. It's a great way for make sure that we read your comment or question on the air. We do read the regular chat as well, and we try to talk about a lot of the stuff there. So if you can, please do. Consider all the other ways as well. You can send us a PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com. Just let us know, or with the moderators in the chat know that you've sent a PayPal, and we'll read your comment or question via the email for that. That's another way to help us, or heading over to Patreon/Trekyards for a monthly way to help us, or just hit that join button. Hitting the join button here on the channel gets you an instant rank. You can be Commander, Captain, Admiral, Fleet Admiral, or Federation President. We've got 3 Federation Presidents right now, and some crazy awesome people that are Admirals and Captains and Commanders. So you guys have joined the ranks and made that really worth worth something because it's a monthly way to support us like Patreon, but it's more fun if you're joining these lives quite often because you get your name and highlighted. We're more likely to read your comment or question that way. You also get a badge beside your name, which changes depending on how long you've been here, so we know how long you've been supporting the channel. And you also get access to all the cool emojis and fun stickers and stuff for the live chat. So if that's something you like to do and you join the chats quite often, that's a great way to help, and it's fun ways. So please consider it. And also, all the links down below as to all the normal stuff. Trekyards merch, it's discount codes for Eagle Moss and things like that. So lots of great ways to help out both yourself and us here at Trekyards, because we do like making this content for you, which is all free for you to watch. Nothing's behind a paywall. Even Patreon members don't get anything like super special or different videos or anything like that. We like to keep it accessible to everybody, and yeah, so if you can help us in any small way, please consider doing so. We'd really, really, really appreciate that. So it looks like Samuel left. I'll be Captain Friday when payday finally arrives. I'll be Captain Friday. What? Hello.
81. Well, it's not too bad, but I want to see those 19 war likes.
Yeah, we didn't hit the 100 that you asked for, but we have more people now, 131. Oh. So guys, hit that like button if you're just joining us. Yeah.
So Stuart, then I'll ask you the question: did Discovery Season 3 stick the landing?
Yes. I think it did, as far as paying off pretty much everything that happened during the course of the season, and not making the mistakes of we have to have a big baddie this year, we got to do this, we got to do that, and plot threads that seemingly went nowhere in season 2, they're almost non-existent here. There's not really plot holes. I'm thinking more of Picard. Picard had a lot of threads that went fucking nowhere, but that's definitely not the case here. They covered everything pretty much. The few threads they have left are going to tie into season 4 and be a perfect lead-in for that. So yeah, I think they absolutely did stick the landing and had that feel-good Star Trek feeling at the end. Got a lot of the common sense stuff that we've been asking for all along, which it makes sense storytelling-wise. Mm-hmm. Like now they're part of the fleet, so they get the uniforms, and there's that welcome to the future thing. Whereas before, realistically, they would have got the uniforms a lot earlier. But I like the storytelling conceit that it's all like wrapped up in a pretty little bow, and now we're representative of.
That's one of those things where we, especially season 2, we said if the payoff isn't good, the set feels worse. The fact the payoff was the uniform moment meant that you can accept the setup being, okay, we'll wait too long, because it works as a payoff. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily work in the universe, but it works in the thematic function of the show. So it sometimes the payoff can actually reinforce the setup because you only knew it in retrospect. Yeah.
And what Governor was saying, originally they were meant to film season 4 and 5 back to back, but COVID messed that up.
Yeah, someone mentioned that on another channel, on another one of our videos, and I asked for a citation. They couldn't provide one because I'd never heard season 5 ever. So if you can provide a link, that'd be great. But I
yeah, let us know where you heard that.
Because the other person couldn't provide any sort of source. And we know the rumours about being cancelled aren't right, and so having a rumour of it being 2 seasons, because that seems very unlikely to me. 1 season at a time, or 2 short seasons, etc., etc. Which just basically means 1 season, but actually 2 seasons. Sorry, I just want to.
Zaraxis though, hey Zaraxis, how's it going? $2. Afternoon, Cap, Sam, and Chat. Good to see you, Zaraxis. Welcome.
I'll be emailing you next week.
Danny Shields for €10. Reading today that season 5 has been greenlit and seasons 4 and 5 will be shot back to back. Could this lead to the episodic long-form storytelling that DS9 was able to do?
Well, if it's brand new news today, is why I might not have seen it yet. That's fair if it's news today.
Yeah.
Can someone please post a link, because I've not read this, which shows it hasn't got that far from people.
But I thought it was cancelled, Samuel.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of cancelled, to give them 2 seasons commission.
Every year it's cancelled, Samuel. Yeah. Fat Produce, $5. Disco Season 3 landed like Afro Guy with Nunchucks audition video from pre-YouTube days. Needless to say, you can't land on Planet Turbolift easily. So you're saying he failed, essentially, because I know the Nunchuck video you're talking about, and he falls on his face. And then, It goes off screen. So yeah, a lot of people disagree that it did what it was supposed to do. I totally disagree with that. I think it course corrected enough, made it feel like Star Trek at the end of the day, and is a great first step into a new era of Trek as far as being in the future. So yeah, I kind of disagree with you.
I mean, you know, as I keep saying, second reboot's the charm. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we almost had. No, I don't want to give it. Anyway, but also, Awesome Source says, Sam would love 3 tutorials from you. How to model the Enterprise in 10 minutes as a challenge video or longer stuff. Maybe an idea for future videos or on your private channel. Well, I can't model, so I couldn't even model a saucer in 10 minutes, let alone anything. Animate's different. I could animate Enterprise in 10 minutes, but can't model. I have a team for that. I need my modelers. Well, they probably could, but it would look like crap. Well, no, it look like tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake Valentina, £5.
Thank you again.
Someone think they could promote Saru to a 1-star admiral, as it is not far higher than a captain. Also, as a thanks to him to find out the reasons of the burn. He just got captain though, like literally
6 months
beginning of the season. Yeah, like he hasn't been a captain long, so. As a ambassadorial thing, maybe to Kelpia or whatever, you know, some kind of addition to his captain's rank. But I don't think.
And also, he didn't find the cause of the burn. Burnham did. Sorry. Burnham did stuff. Burnham found all the initial black boxes. She found the black box of Book. Book gave it to her. He just helped them get places. She went off mission to save Book. I mean, Saru, I wouldn't give him any credit to. Sorry. I mean, he might have stopped another burn by getting to Zakal, sure, but he didn't find the source of the first burn. And yeah, he should really honestly be not full captain at this point. Like, it would be enough to see a scene in season 4 where Vance is saying you're officially a captain, you know, because you're acting captain in essence. Because remember, he was never actually. Pike gave him acting captain in the last 5 minutes of Discovery season 2.
Yeah.
And then he was in season 3 as acting captain, and then Vance just, I guess, considered him captain because he said he was a captain. But no Admiralty ever gave them Frank a captain. We never saw that on screen, per se. So he's like, you know. And before that, he wasn't ever, you know. So no, definitely not Admiral. It's like saying, should Janeway have been given Admiralty after the end of Voyager Season 1? It's like, no? Why would you say that? And she's done more things than Saru did in Season 1, in terms of cool things.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because, guys, ranks are really important, you know. It's like Burnham, because she was a commander for so many years. Because remember, she walked into being commander from the Vulcan Science Academy. She actually didn't go through the Earth Academy. She didn't go through any of the ranks. She was brought onto the Shenzhou as a favour to Sarek, given straight the commander rank. So she already kind of skipped a lot of the rank procedure stuff and then stayed there. But she stayed commander for a lot of years and then, etc., etc. So they're all a bit screwy with rank. They're not as needed for that.
Mm-hmm. Danny Shields, €10. Let's be clear, this was the best season of Trek in the last 20 years with CGI, editing, and music done in lockdown. I have faith of the heart in this current team. Yeah, they've definitely improved since we first saw them. So.
And Oyo Governor, please email trekyards@hotmail.com. That will be an easy way of sending, and I can look it right now. Although the website you source doesn't sound particularly well known per se, which is, you know, quite important because, as we know, anyone can say anything about anything, and the amount of people that send rumors, to a site and they then post it. But the thing about rumor, that's why we don't do the rumor mill, is because if someone says a rumor that, say, Star Wars Mandalorian season 2 is going to be this, well, in 8 months, no one's going to care that you said it. So you've got the views, the money, and the kudos but no one ever fact checks you back. So it's an unlimited way of making money, but there's no, like, if you know it's not right stuff, there's no morality there, and we'd rather, no one ever fact checks and sees how many mistakes they made, because rumors can always say, well, we were just wrong. Well, then don't report it. You know, if you're not sure, you know.
But it gets them that instant views and stuff, so that's why they do it. So.
Also, you're out of focus. Sorry.
Well, I look better this way. We've gone over this.
That's funny.
Let's see. LWatch01. Simple no. Predictable finale. The whole point was to make it to put Mikey in the chair.
Well, the predictable means it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, there weren't twists and turns because it all was logical.
Subscribe to this channel says, I think that they're going to drop Star Trek Discovery and replace it with Strange New Worlds. No, they're going to run both together. Fairly certain about that.
Well, it's weird because they're no longer vying for the same audience in the sense that they're not both Discovery era, which means the art design's totally different. This is now a future show in the future, so it has something to add, you know? Like, when they were at the same time, we didn't know what was going to happen. It's like, why would we care about Discovery and Stranger Worlds happen? But now we care about this future. We care about Vance. You know, I want to see more Vance, so show me more Discovery. You know, he's a good character, he's a strong character, etc.
Yeah.
Trekyards at hotmail.com. Awesome source.
Yes.
Screen Rant. Yeah, semi. They also just do rumors, though.
Yeah. Devo77X, what do you think of Trek culture? I like their stuff a lot. Yeah, they're good. They're good peeps. Good channel to watch. They get some stuff wrong, and they rush into things a little too quickly, and sometimes do spoilers in their thumbnails. But hey,
yes,
they're still good guys.
Forever anyone.
They're still good guys.
Yeah, great people, but they're not as technically minded as we are. But that's kind of the point. You know, we're technically like we're aficionados. That's why we started a channel. They're not that, not in a bad way. Just that's our niche. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Stephen W. Fathery, $5. If folks fact-checked YouTube rumor videos, none of the Fandom Menace channels would still be around. Remember how many times Discovery was canceled? Oh, I know. It was, it was canceled before it even started. And, oh, my God. Could you imagine if it wasn't canceled? We could have had like 3 seasons by now.
Well, yeah. They're sad, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the article does say it, but it doesn't cite any source. So you're referencing an article without a source. So it says it was aimed at. It doesn't say as said by da. They're asserting it, and I've not heard anyone formally say that. So yeah. Stuart, ask me the question of the thing.
Yeah. Do you think that Discovery Season 3 stuck the landing? Or did they fumble the ball? What did they do?
I would like you to ask me that question, though, again, but in the context of compared to the other seasons, because that's an important question as well.
Compared to Seasons 1 and 2, did Season 3 of Discovery stick the landing?
Oh, God, yeah. But by itself, probably yes. But I wouldn't be as, instant yes. But just because the others sort of failed miserably. I mean, this is probably the first, apart from Lower Decks, it's the first one stuck it tremendously well. But it's kind of a factor. If you hate the Zakal thing, then the ending probably feels very flat. Actually, Ketwolski had a great comment about this. And he actually feels very similar to us, which is kind of nice. He said, the reason the Zakal thing is annoying for a lot of people is that you could never have guessed it. There was no setup of any kind because it was a random, well, here you go, which means it's random, it's unnecessary. There's no hints, and even if the hints allow you to predict it and some people guess it, you feel justified. But if you reach the end and here's a MacGuffin, it's like, oh, and here you go, and it doesn't link to anything.
Yeah, and as we talked about before, if it had been a TNG episode where all the dilithium in a certain system went inert, and we found out it was somebody on a planet that, exact same situation, but it was an episode of TNG, that was a pretty good episode. But since it's stretched out and it's meant to be this big thing, yeah, you expect something bigger. A lot of people expected the big bad guy, expected all this, and it just, it let a lot of people down. I disagree. I think it was great, a nice little something that you couldn't predict, and it was really fun. So one-time occurrence.
But it definitely is one of those things that they should have done more with setup. But it's a everything about the universe is fresh, so therefore everything has to be explained, set up, and talked about. I think something would have made it much stronger is if the song actually meant anything. We both said that it makes sense that she sings a lullaby as she dies, and therefore that's the thing he hears, or it's playing on the intercom, and that's because otherwise why else is the signal on the burn? There's no reason. They obviously disconnected there somewhere, and then at least you'd say, oh yeah, or as Kowalski said, have it be a Kelpian lullaby as well. So at least it links to Saru, but they never went there as well. Or maybe, I don't know, if there'd been some special connection to even if I don't know how you do it. It's such a random thing. At least there were known aliens, which is good. You know, at least there were Kelpians and something. It would have been weird. It would be even worse. They were just another race we never heard of. It's like, okay, but I don't know. Yeah, it's. You know what they could have done actually. Something that would have helped, I think. And this is very minor. It would have hard to have set up properly, but you let me know what you think. If at some point in the middle of the season, after they've already met Vance and such, we had a scene where Saru goes to Vance and says, "Sorry to bother you, sir. Do you have a minute?" "Yes, Captain Saru." Wait for him to come back. Yeah, he says to Saru, and Saru asks him, "I just want to know, how was Kelpia wants to join the Federation? I want to know a little bit about her. I'd love to go back someday." And he's like, "Oh yes, they're very good. They had lots of science ships. They're very keen on exploration. And they were some of our foremost experts in finding new dilithium in terms of exploration." Like, have that in the dialogue. It sounds, whatever, and then links together. And then you could have had Saru do research on those captains because he's interested in spare time, and him actually know the captain when he sees them. That would have been a payoff, you know. Oh my God, it's Captain Durandre. I know her. She was this, and this. It's a very, very small payoff, but I don't know how you could really make it more. Yeah. But I don't think it's a bad ending for sure.
No, I don't either.
Just definitely random. But yeah, I know one of my friends absolutely hates the idea of him linking with dilithium because it's never been set before that dilithium has a link to subspace, and that in itself breaks canon. I'm like, I guess it wasn't ever said.
Have you read our script for dilithium? We talk about its link to subspace. It's been mentioned somewhere. It's in one of the technical manuals.
Yeah, because it's such a high energy thing. I assumed it kind of transcended something. Because that's the thing, though. Dilithium is like the most important substance in the galaxy. There's a reason, even 1,000 years later, they're using dilithium. And since Klingons, Romans, and Vulcans used it for so long, do you really think 2,000 years of using dilithium or whatever, it isn't the thing? You know? It's the shit. Like, everyone uses it for a reason.
It's the shit.
So I'm okay with the most important material in the world being somehow magic in like the special material, you know. If it's a new material, maybe not. But the dilithium, that's the thing.
Yeah. No, I agree with that for sure. Danny Shields, though, €10.
Yeah. Very kind, man.
Regardless of rumors, it would make sense in COVID times for them to write and film seasons back to back to bank content, especially when Disco films in Toronto as opposed to LA like Picard. Sure. Yeah. Sure. I don't know what to say to that. I just hope they have it planned from beginning of season 4 to end of season 5. Then, like a whole piece.
Or well, I mean, you don't tend to, in the sense of even if they were given us another, like if you were given a season order for season 5, and you start filming season 4, you're so busy with season 4, you can't go ahead and write season 5. You haven't got time.
Yeah.
So really, it's impractical. Obviously, they had that 6-month delay, so maybe they were told write season 5 just in case. But can you imagine if you started filming season 4, you want to change the ending, and you need to rewrite all of your season 5, and you got to film it. Can you imagine how screwy that is? So it's a very dangerous game. But in terms of shooting back to back, do you really think these actors want to be stuck in Toronto in their, for like 13 months?
What's wrong with Toronto?
Nothing.
Are you bad enough in Toronto?
I mean, you've been there. No, it's fine. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's a different when you only have to do six months out of a year. But when you've been told to stay, and contractually obligated to be there for like 13 months, and in COVID restrictive times, where you can't see your friends and family, do you think, do you think Anthony Rapp actually brought his, fiance to Toronto? Otherwise, he can't fly, he can't leave. It's like, I won't see you for 13 months. It's like, that sucks. That's why you have those breaks. But that said, obviously, it's smart. But then CBS has got to fund all that money, and that's 2 years worth of budget before anyone's even bought the show yet, or like before anyone. So that's a really big risk, unless you make it cheaper, simpler, and smaller. But COVID does mean cheaper, simpler, smaller, but also more expensive because you have all the COVID restrictive extra stuff. So they're actually it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Well, Maz87 EFR says Discovery is not real Star Trek. Well, I would like a definition of what is real Star Trek. because I'm really getting sick and tired of that argument as well.
I mean, it's not the best Star Trek. It's certainly
No,
in a lower
certainly not.
tier, but I would
Yeah.
consider this season probably better than TNG season 1.
No.
I don't know. I said that like for Enterprise. It's like I enjoyed watching this more probably than that season, just because it's like it was such a nice, like we had such fun learning about as we went. You know, I think better is a hard word because so much more talent went into that season. You know, more actors, more sets, more whatever. I think, but this season was like really fun to watch. The fact that it didn't let me down was a really unusual thing. Yeah.
Area 51, $5. At least it wasn't a giant CGI with noise salad like season 2 finale. Yeah, that was just ridiculous beyond ridiculous. So like 97 fighters and shuttles come out of the shuttle bay of the Enterprise, Pike's Enterprise, no doubt, which can barely hold 4 Type F shuttles in TOS. Really,
it's just slapping fans in the face.
Yeah,
you know, and that's a problem. Because it'd be fine if they warped in like a fighter carrier. You know, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, it's just slapping us in the face. Yeah, I mean the fact this season's been so restrained and well written in comparison. You know, because we watched season 2 finale and were just let down. Just let down. The ending was great, but of course it was. It was about the Discovery. I mean, it was on the Enterprise's Pock and Spike. Spike? No, not Pock and Spike. Spike and Pock. No.
Pock and Spike. Yeah, that's
Spock
that's that.
And Pike.
Woo! Wow. Wow. Yeah. Well, a lot of people are hating on it, but that's okay. Yeah, I can understand why people might be upset with it, but you know, it is what it is, and it's made by hopefully now people that are more in line with Trek. Brian Fuller wanted to do something different, and it shows. And unfortunately, they were stuck with a lot of that as baggage to get through seasons 1, and then try to do something different for season 2. So now they're kind of got that. They're stepping out of that quagmire they were in, and they're going to start something new. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not really good form to the second season of your show change everything art design about the first season. It tells the audience that you knew it was a mistake. And not that they knew it was a mistake, but they can't necessarily change it to save face because you know company position is quite important as well. So season 3 they can change. They changed a lot of stuff in season 3, and I really do think season 4 they're going to change interiors, even if as Oscar just change the paint. I think I mean you could change it as we see in other Treks. They kit bash and they rechange the same structure. So maybe they'll shrink down the main internal structure of the bridge, like at a second level, make it more like a CNC. You know, there's stuff you could do to it, but just painting it differently, changing the displays. Because why would they still be using any of the controls? You know, if it's been if especially the time jump, you'd think Detmer and the crew would learn how to use the new controls. You know, it's like on Navy vessel, I like using stuff from the 20s, and they're like, yeah, but we're in 2020. Can we do that? No, okay.
Yeah. Well, Alan Parr says this season was generally pretty good, but we were still scoring so many unnecessary own goals, turbolift shafts, pesticides in space, etc. Yeah, there was a bunch of stupidity. We called it all along. When they did good, they did good. When they didn't, we definitely hashtag justice for Pock and Spike. Yes, that's great.
Oh, that's going to be a thing, isn't it? I mean, I think it needs to be a shirt now. The Adventures of Pock and Spike.
Yes.
Strange
New World's coming up. That'll be a thing. Trust me.
You should go back and watch my face and see the frame that my brain catches up to my mouth.
Oh, Area 51, $5.
Thank you.
At least it was. Oh, I read that one already.
Okay,
Never
well,
mind.
thank you
Area
twice.
51.
You got 2.
But Kyle Wong throws in £20, which is amazing. Thank you so much.
That does help a lot.
The season was okay, but the problem I have with the show is that I'm nervous every time I tune in, not knowing if the episode will be any good or not. I'm not nervous when I watch other shows like Mado or Cobra Kai. What's Mado?
Mandalorian.
Oh, Mandalorian. Gotcha.
I can definitely sympathize with that. I can definitely.
No, we're the same way. because each week it's like, I wonder what Samuel's gonna think. 'Cause that's why we never tell each other what we think before we film our first review, which is always interesting because a lot of times we surprise each other by liking or disliking things that, you know, we weren't sure about.
And that conversation is 100% genuine, unfiltered. It's only edited in certain, in a certain way, and that's why it's great. Either I think you're not gonna like it, I think you're gonna like it, you really like it, and often we get things wrong, and I kind of like when we disagree. It's kind of refreshing, kind of fun in its own way.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not fun that we disagree.
Well, I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. I think it is.
Well,
okay.
Well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Says the wrong guy.
No, I'm the right guy at the wrong time. Anyway, Jeffrey Jacobs, $5. Hey guys, just want to send some love and say I was very disappointed that they went full on TARDIS in this episode. Blew it to do it and make Jeff pay. Yes, hit the like button, guys. 227 people here, 135 likes. Let's get 150. We can do that easily. Hit it.
Okay, I feel like that super chat deserved it, and I'll be the devil's advocate, and you jump on what I was saying to everyone else. But Stuart, the turbolift shafts, the TARDIS turbolift makes perfect sense. Because in Star Trek Enterprise, Season 2, Episode something or other, we see a pod from the future with TARDIS tech inside. So, of course, the Discovery is just using TARDIS tech, right? Did you realise that, guys? And literally 3 or so comments I saw just like, guys, you should know better, and then quoted it. It's like, oh yeah, thanks for that. Great.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah.
No. Well, if you go back and watch season 1 or 2 of Discovery, they do have the grandiose, the grand gallery of turbolifts, and they also put it on the Enterprise, Pike's Enterprise, no less.
There's a reason we called them turbolift roller coasters. Like that's been a thing since season 1 as a joke.
Yep. So go back and watch, guys. It's in season 1. No explanation for the tech because that's pre-TOS tech. So negative.
But that said, that itself is a great reason for season 3's version. But because they've already wronged it by 1 and 2, the joke being, as you pointed out, they do actually have gates that are appearing with replicable matter. So it is they have put new technology. In the other seasons, they had them on rails. So they have updated their giant space.
Yes, they have.
So they understand it, and they're changing it. Oi.
What I think happens is every time you step through a turbolift door, you get shrunk. So all that grand space is in like 2 feet of like on the way to wherever. Because that would explain why the trips take so long as well. Because even if you do say that it makes sense and you show me some kind of schematic where there's a big hole or section of the ship, there's no way that it could move horizontally for that amount of time at that speed and not be 1,000 miles long.
And to double clarify, there is a scene when Spock takes 5 minutes to go 2 decks, and that's always been a conceit. Yeah, thing is, they were wrong too. They weren't right. Spock should have said turbolift hold. This being wrong, that is also wrong.
Are you talking about TOS? You're referring to the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where he says, deck 2, and they're on the bridge. That's for like 1:30.
Yeah.
And there's no quarters on deck 2 anyway, so that was also an error.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of just stupid stuff. So,
it's like saying, oh well, if the Enterprise can have both 74 decks and 24 decks, it's like no, it doesn't. They're wrong. It's I'm gonna see if I can find the turbolift rant from our earlier lives, and let's see what past us. I mean, I'll see if I can find one of them, because they prove that they are turbolifts, and we can listen to past us. I thought we did a separate video on it, but I guess we didn't. I guess we were vented enough through the lives, so I'm not quite sure when they appear in early seasons. I'll be honest.
Oh, we need to do a video just about it when it first showed up. Because we need to clarify that for all the people. For all the people that are like, you guys should know better. Actually, in Enterprise Season 2. Yeah, no. Sorry, guys. Squadron Course, $2. Season 3 was better, but not enough for me to pay. Yeah, fair enough. The fact that they put it behind a paywall is annoying. And the fact that most of the world still hasn't seen Lower Decks, although it will be coming out soon, it just annoys me to no end.
Well, it's embarrassing, because
it is.
Shows no one wanted it. And that's sad. It's the best of the shows.
Yeah, it's just, and you can't blame COVID for the distribution rights and things. That's just No, it doesn't work.
They knew it was. They had 9 months to 2 years. Well, 9 months to 12 months to sell it, and to get it out to people. Like, remember, Picard and Discovery both announced on their streaming shows well before they came out. Although, to be fair, Discovery, it's not behind a paywall so much. It's on Netflix in the UK, and, you know, obviously it is
true,
a paywall.
But you still got to pay. You still got to pay for those, yeah.
Sure, but it's like when people say, "Oh, I couldn't watch Picard. I haven't got Amazon." Like, you haven't got Amazon Prime. Who hasn't got Amazon Prime? It's like one of those basic things.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I do because it's free shipping.
So. Yeah, I mean, it pays for it. It's just, it's one of those basic things that we just live. All 3 people in my house have it, despite we all could share. That's how important. That's how useful it is as a feature.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs, 253, 150. Oh yeah, onwards to 250 and 300. Hashtag made Jeff pay. 236 people here, 156 likes. Hit that like button. We can hit 200 likes easily. If you haven't hit it, please consider hitting it. Kevin Fletcher throws in 35 Czar. Don't know what that is, but thank you so much. Season 3 was all right. I would like to see them explore Su'Kal's connection to dilithium. Use him to send to enemy ships to destroy, disable them. No, I don't. We don't need to see Su'Kal again ever. You know, it was a one-time thing. There's no sense making him a regular character at all. You know.
And in fact, guys, put in the chat now. Would you like to see Su'Kal in season 3, 4, or not? I'd actually legitimately like to know. Please let us know.
Yeah. George Nees, 20 euros.
Oh, thank you.
This is back pay for you guys. Well, thank you. There is an issue between Google and my credit card provider. I hope it gets remedied soon. And then at Topic, I liked this season, but I hope Burnham finally gets some consistent character. Yes. Like, we're going to talk about that in our season 4 predictions, because I have some ideas for what her character might have to go through for season 4. But yeah, I think, I mean, she consistently cried every episode, so that's a good thing. I mean, they are being consistent to a degree. She went from emotionless plank of wood to over dramatic and reacting to everything. And I guess if you've been suppressed your whole life being raised on Vulcan, you might do that. So there might be precedence for that, but I don't know. I think her character will be treated better from now on, hopefully.
Well, I mean, Captain, you have to give respect to the Captain. I mean, as soon as Saru got Captain, he was given really good lines. Pike was given really good lines. Lorca was a fuck on purpose. So he was given good lines in that context. You know, as I said earlier, Burnham has to be a very different character as Captain, because she can't go off and do things. I think she still will. Like, I think there'll still be some dodgy shit. Like, that's not what Captain would do. But someone was saying, is she consistent? See, I know about the crying. See, I know some people call on that, but I didn't even notice that she was emotional every episode. Doesn't even register to me, because
I didn't either until halfway through the season. Everybody kept mentioning it, and then I went back and checked. It's like, shit, she does do that a lot. God damn.
Because for me, it just feels contextual to each scene, so I don't think anything of it. It's like, well, that's how you might react in that scene. What do you? You know what I mean? Like, it's not random outbursts of emotion. It's like, well, they're in a scene that's emotional, and therefore they're getting emotional. Wouldn't you rather them act? Like, I thought her acting was a lot better this year.
It was. It felt more natural for sure. Even the things with Book, like, it just felt like normal human things. Thank you.
And actually, I was trying to find some stills for an episode, and I played a few seconds of the episode on Pavo with her and Tyler Vok. And I was cringing instantly of their, like, chemistry. And they, like, were getting close. I'm like, oh, yeah, this was shit, wasn't it? And then you compare it to Book and her, like, snazzy.
Yeah.
You know, 3 episodes, like, oh, they're going to do it. 5 episodes, oh, they did it. 6 episodes, they're together! 10 episodes, they're in love. Boom, done.
And they're saying I love you, yeah.
Yeah, easy. Not a single thing. And Tyler Buck was so inorganic. I mean, obviously, he's a bloody, Klingon convert spy. Fine. It's confusing. Fine. But just the chemistry level is so much better for those two. That was, I mean, everyone loves him anyway. But he was good casting. I would love to have known if they actually had, like, a casting process that actually put actors against her and see who had the best on-screen chemistry. Because it's not like it's electric chemistry, it just feels natural. And that's an unusual sort of chemistry, because sometimes you're just like, ooh, like Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, there's something kind of like, zzz, like they hate each other, love each other. Electric, but it's not like natural. It feels like, feels like a film romance, but it feels really passionate. So it's a different balance of things. Yeah.
Interesting. James McGill, $5. Discovery Season 3 had good stories, character growth, reasonable technobabble, and I love the Easter eggs. Only issue I got is the turbo lift and future starships. Future starships were fine. I just wish we would have seen more of them. But yeah, to quadruple down on the stupid shit that they did in Season 1 with those turbo lift roller coasters was just cringy. And those fight scenes being so long and so exaggerated. Like, just snip that, edit that, make it shorter. I don't care if the episode's like 4 minutes shorter as a result. That was a lot of wasted time, in my opinion, and just really made them look stupid. And that's all everybody's commenting on. If you look online, the TARDIS is coming up.
And honestly, now you've mentioned that in that way, it is what they did in Season 2 with the TARDIS shuttle bays. How does the Enterprise and Discovery launch each 90 shuttles that literally don't mean anything? There's a bad battle. It looks bland. Doesn't make sense. As in bland as there's no focus. Like, yeah, they just invented space because they needed something to happen. They invented, and it could have been better without. As I said to you, all they had to do was have them all get to the computer core at the same time and then have a fight there. 2-on-2. Much more exciting. Mm-hmm. And much cheaper. Put the money into building better models. And I know, and actually, let's hear, as almost 250 of you here, how many of you would like to see us do a top 10 best and top 10 worst Star Trek Discovery Season 3 elements as lives? Each different live, each of us with our own top 10 list. We see who values what. We did it for last Season 2, it was a lot of fun. Who would tune in and watch that? I may even be inclined to have a drink with each of those, just like a casual cider or two. Ruin the bladder.
That'd be good, yeah. Yeah.
Would you guys watch that? I mean, you're here to watch this, and hopefully that sounds more fun.
I'm willing to get shit-faced. I'm just going to have the occasional little sip or drink here.
That's what I mean.
I'll get shit-faced. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, put it in the chat. Would you watch that? So, yes, I'm down for both. Yes, I want to see that. Yes.
Those are fun.
Those
Good.
Are fun. Yes. Okay, well, something we'll be doing then in the next couple weeks.
And probably next week. But speaking of Stuart, pimp out Saturday's formal thing then.
Saturday we're doing a thing. A Trekyards. We're going to be talking about, what are we doing?
The official big end of season retrospective, the official one, the big one, Stuart. You forgot all about it, didn't you?
No, I didn't know if it was this is what we got for Christmas one, or this is the whatever. It's a retrospective one. Saturday afternoon. Join us. Get us drunk. Come hang out with us on a Saturday afternoon. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's this Saturday. So,
and that's the big one where we go through the entire season and
reevaluate our scores possibly.
Yes, because I will be telling you. I'll be telling you your scores, and then seeing how much they justify, how much they stay together. Getting to re-see, then you can say, oh my god, do I really think this is a good score or not? It'll be fun because we'll be able to actually work out what is our top in the new order, because we tend to do our old score and our new score and then see what our original favourite 3 was and how would we do them now.
Yeah, and I try to guess what I originally scored it.
Yeah.
That was... Captain Chili Bina puts in $5. The bad was thrown in our faces, but there's a lot more good. A couple episodes qualified as actual good Trek. Overall, best season of modern live action Trek. I totally agree with everything in that sentence. That was awesome. It's definitely better than Picard for multiple reasons. Definitely better than previous Discovery. So yes, and I love how you said live action Trek, because Lower Decks blew this out of the water, really. But that's a different animal altogether.
Well, what's interesting though is that this is the same cast with the same sets, give or take. It's the writing and the story idea, fine, but the writing, the actors are always capable of it. And then the writing just being brought up, as I call it, was their first mature season. The first season felt like shit hit the wall, sonar in space, cloaks aren't cloaks, our cloaks aren't cloaks with no we're still not beginning a reason for breaking canon. And they say, oh yeah, everything will link together. You've gone to the future, motherfuckers. Sorry, Alex Kurtzman, everything will make sense at the end of the season. You've gone to the future. You don't give a shit how Takuba Mark got a cloak. You never cared. Brian wrote it. You didn't care. Moving on. Well, that breaks so much canon. And people say Discovery doesn't break canon. Oh no, it does break canon. I mean, it makes new canon because it is canon, but it breaks canon because they don't care, etc., etc. And then season 2 is them trying to take some fun stuff, but they didn't think it through properly. And if you got things with time travel really strongly, if you don't, it falls apart. It's the example of not good writing combined with better stuff, but like
But each season has a little bit of gold in there. Like if it's a nugget, if it's a scene, if it's a
loads of
witty bit of
scenes.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Sometimes an episode overall is pretty good, like the one with Mud where he magic to make the Saineth man go mad, where he kills Lorca like 50 million times. That's fun. A fantastic episode as far as being fun. But yeah, does it fit in the general context of Star Trek? That's another conversation. But there's a lot of gold to be found there, and that's what we like to do, is point out the good and the bad. So,
but obviously, it's one of those things where the season 3, just the bar was raised, so there's just very little bad anymore.
Yeah.
They still could have done more each week, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But the bar got raised. Yeah.
Squadra course, $2. Characters must earn the respect of the audience. That's generally how it goes. So, and I think a lot of characters shine better this season than they have in the past. So,
and besides, that shows how everyone likes Book. Like,
Book's great, yeah.
Like Universal, he earned our respect in less screen time than anyone else. I mean, that's yes.
Yeah.
He earned
and Vance.
And Jesus, and
Vance,
yeah.
Vance was a standout for this season,
Yep.
and just Star Trek in general for Admirals.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how it's done.
Top 5 Admirals, I would happily say.
Best Admiral, I would say. He's in number 1. He's not even top 5. I don't know. That would require some work, but
yeah, we'd have to. I mean, he got the most screen time of any Admiral, so that would also be a. I don't want to give him the top slot because I don't remember the rest of them. There's probably.
What about Admiral Ross from DS9? Or...
Yeah, he got a lot of screen time too. I have to remember, obviously, he went down the dark route in the end. Classic
Admiral Forrest, Enterprise. There's a lot of Admirals.
Yeah, see, he's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Admirals that had a lot of screen time too. You have to compare him to. So
I would say he was a slightly less good actor though. He was solid as all hell, but I don't remember him.
He's just the friendly guy next door. Like he doesn't feel like an admiral. He feels like just, but that's okay because Starfleet was young at the time.
Yeah.
So he's different context.
He's a homegrown admiral rather than the Admiral Starfleet. Yeah, exactly. But he's also got to be in the top 5.
Admiral Kirk. Everybody's like, what about Admiral Kirk? Well, we don't really see what Admiral Kirk did much of, except for bitch and whine and mope.
But yeah, he's only Admiral for 3 movies, and one of which he abuses power, demotes somebody, like he demotes a captain. How shitty! We just rewatched that. Imagine being what's his name? We just watched it. What's his name? Decker. Imagine Decker. He finally got captaincy after years of being a commander. Finally got his first ship. It's the Enterprise. He's been doing the refit for 3 years or whatever. And
his dad died fighting the Doomsday Machine.
And then suddenly Admiral Kirk, who you really like as a guy, you met him, he helped you get the commission, demotes you to commander, demotes you to science officer as well, then he puts you in second in command, and then you evolve into an energy being. That's not the day he thought he was going to have. But seriously, can you imagine being demoted from... You finally got captaincy.
Yeah.
It's like Cisco being finally given captain and said, right, and now quickly just be second in command of the ship for a few days. It's like, what? Yeah. That'd suck. Anyway.
Well, Captain Kurt puts in $5 Canadian, so thank you. Maybe Burnham is just letting out years of emotional repression. I mean, she was raised as a Vulcan. Well, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. She had a year time lapse here, so of thinking her friends, she might not never see them again, not seeing her time, not knowing where her mom is. So a lot happened to her in a year that we didn't see. So I can forgive the emotional outbreaks a little bit, but it makes her a better character overall. She's much more relatable in season 3. than she was before. So, and that's, I think, the big sticky point, because everybody's like, Michael's the best ever. Like, that whole thing came about because of the way she was in seasons 1 and 2. Season 3, well, yeah, season 3 they tried to fix that though and make her more relatable, but people have already got their minds made up, so they've just ignore everything about it.
Well, it's about fixing what was broken, but she's still the hero of the tale, which means she has to be the best in the show. It's a losing battle without actually making them less strong. And what's nice about Burnham this year, there's 2 ways of doing this sort of character growth. You either make them stronger with clever writing, or you make everyone else weaker around them. You know, the new Star Wars films, they made Rey look better by making Luke weaker, by making Han weaker, by making Leia weaker. Like, whereas if they still had Luke strong and Rey raised up with the movies, it would have felt very apt. Luckily, they kept Vance really strong and Saru really strong, and they raised Burnham up. So it was a better balance where people can still do what they do and not ruin the balance. And Bill says, does Admiral Vance actually have an office? He's always standing by the railings. He's in his office all the time. It's the same white room as every white room, but it's a replicatable matter room. So it's any room you want it to be. And it's fine. It's a fair office.
Maybe that's why he said, prepare the ready room. Change my office to the ready room.
Yeah.
We got a guest coming.
Why not? Why not?
That was a standout line, kind of. So anyway, Ruben Loza, $5.
Hey.
At least now that Michael is captain, she can just be in charge. It isn't insubordination.
Yes.
Probably should have just did it from the start. Yeah. She was always telling everybody, captains or otherwise, what to do. So
basically, it was a flawed premise from the start. Having a lower deck style character, but actually have them at the front of every single situation, felt wrong. Like, it doesn't work particularly well. But then to make them that important, then had to also be, you know, son of Sarek, etc., etc. You know, you've got to have all these extra bonus things to make them important. Whereas, like, lower decks, they're not important, even though they kind of are. But it's, you know, it works a lot better. You know.
Yeah. 242 people watching, 187 likes, guys. 13 more likes to get to 200. So 13 of you out there that haven't hit that like button. Kai L. Wong puts in £10.
Ooh,
thank you so much.
Again, kicking butt. Thank you.
Are you guys going to review WandaVision? No. I'll probably watch it with Sylvia, but we're not going to review it. I'm not even sure really what the premise is. Is she just imagining all this? I don't know. We'll watch it. We'll check it out.
The issue is they're 2 of the least interesting characters in the entire MCU. And their romance was one of the least interesting subplots in the MCU. And he died.
Yeah.
And she's OP. So
yeah, she is OP. Yeah, absolutely.
And so all of those things work against it. I'll watch it because I don't want to be left behind, but I have no specific interest in it. Like,
it could surprise you.
Oh no, it probably will. I'm sure it'll be great. But it's, you know, I'm not sure how we'd review it either. We can't actually analyze the space data, and the turbo scenes won't annoy us too much. But I haven't run out to watch it. I think it's already out, first episode at least. Like, I haven't found time to watch it. It hasn't been on my radar. Mandalorian's different because it's space based. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that excited, but I'll watch it. I'm sure obviously they'll be better in it because they're both the stars. You know.
We might talk about it in a live at some point after we've both seen all of it. Might be worth just discussion, just talking about
WandaVision season 1 review.
Yeah.
Sure. But thanks for asking. But remember, this is, even though we do branch out, it's still a Trek ship-based channel, and that is our, you know...
Yeah.
I know a lot of YouTubers are we're review people. We are still the core content people who happen to do reviews, you know? That's why we do all the small videos a week. That's why bigger channels can just do one review, and then either rumor videos or whatever. We actually do content, you know, analysing, discussing, theorising specific things. And we think it's important.
Mm-hmm. And... before I get to the super chats, Bill 23799 says, so Ensign Tilly is now the XOXO. Yay.
Oh, XXO.
Or you mean, XXO, yeah. She's the XXO. She's not going to be the new XO. I'm pretty sure she's not going to be Burnham's XO. But a lot of people are still pushing that's going to be the case. But they deliberately changed her color from red, which was command, to blue for the final release, which means she's sciences, which means they're kind of... I know she just got promoted to ensign at the end of last season and put in the command training program,
which is great.
But
For an ensign.
Maybe she's changed her mind after what happened. Who knows? There was definitely some hesitation there when she's like, just do what you want to do. It's an order if you want it to be, if it'll make you feel better.
Well, I'm hoping that we're going to get a scene where Burnham or someone says, like, well, one of the bridge crew give him more lines. Tilly, what happened? I thought you were trying to do command path. And she'll say, it's still my passion in a few years' time, but I think I want to be the best. My passion was always science. I think I want to be the best science that I can. Do what I can to help Starfleet. I'm more useful as a scientist than as an XO right now.
Yes.
We're thinking, Jesus Christ, you're an ensign. Of course. Get 30 years experience first. Are you kidding? Saru only put you in charge because you would say yes to things.
Well, she asked if it was because I'm competent or compliant, and he said competent. But
he didn't answer properly because she knows and he knows and we know.
Well, he just trusts her. He's the one that he could talk to the most, and he knew that she would tell her the truth. After she told him the truth about Burnham buggering off.
Yeah, sure.
Like, he trusted her enough because she could have covered for her best friend and didn't. So, yeah, there's a lot there as far as why he decided to do that.
Well, yeah, Shiz is go-to gal of the crew. In fact, I can imagine if Hiroshikam or Detmer were at XO, both would override the greater good of the ship to save each other. Whereas Tilly would do the ship over the crew. So that alone tells you that that's why he didn't trust those to be XOs, despite having more experience and being higher in rank. Who the hell knows about Nielsen? Nielsen, yeah. Who knows where her loyalties are?
I think she'll probably be the XO for season 2. Is my feel, or season 4 is my feeling.
But wouldn't you be annoyed though as a secondary person if you're Oshkam or Detmer, the actors who've been there with more lines? Arium had no lines in seasons 1, died in season 2, swap actors. Then they brought you back, which was great, and you're given some lines about as much as everyone else. And suddenly you were given an XO job with even more lines. It's like, but you were there less than I was, and why are you being given?
It makes me wonder if she knows somebody, one of the producers who got. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. She got a lot of lines this season and was kind of put in charge when other people weren't on the bridge a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, she'd be a great number 3. Well, she is number 3. I mean, in essence, so she keeps getting that job. That's why we thought she'd be the Tilly version. Have Tilly be the XO and Area 51. I like it.
Yeah. Her own XO. James McGill, $2.
Thank you, James.
Futuristic ships are okay, hard to see and enjoy them. Yeah, yep. That's the problem. Even with season 1 of Discovery, we're like, can we have a flyby of the ship so we can see it? Can you turn the lights on so we can see it? Oh, so dark and no, thank you. Okay.
But season 2, here's a few shots. But you know what, Stuart Foley of Trekyards? We'll give you a good looking D7 for season 2. Will that make everything okay?
You shouldn't have fucked it up in the first place, would be my response to that. So, Kirk Solo puts in £5.
Good name as always.
I assume pesticides was a euphemism for Theleron weaponry of some other chemical bioweapon. Also, #justice for Remus. Yeah, they didn't really mention the Remans, but
they missed so much.
That was still a long time ago, and there's 900 years that happened, and then
Oh yeah. Yeah,
lots happened.
Yeah, I assume meant Picard. They didn't mention Remans once, but you're right. I mean, in Discovery, that would have been nice to mention.
Yeah,
but it'd be nice if they just got their own planet. They said, "But we're gonna bugger off. You guys have abused us for the last 600 years, and now they're on this other quadrant." There you go.
Yeah.
Bump into a planet of Remans. That's all good.
Area 51, $5.
Thank you.
Vance, I don't have an office. I have a pile of goo that I can make a desk and chair out of. Shuffles off. And that goo is made from our shit. I have a shitty office.
All matter on the station is replicatable. All from our waste. And apples.
It's a good system. Mark Lawrence throws in $10. Thank you so much, Mark. Good to see you.
Drinks.
Discovery season 3 landed like the Millennium Falcon did at the end of the Kessel Run. It made it, and there was high points, but like the outside was all beat up, like Cannon was. Oh, that's good. That's a good analogy. It landed. It made it to the end, but it fucked itself up on the way. There was less canon breaking in this season than the last two. Come on now.
I mean, they can't have broke canon. It's all new canon. That's the thing.
I know.
You know. But hey, we've got new uniforms. You know, I think it would have hurt if their new designs were bad. As in, if their new uniforms were shit, if the ships were actually bad. Like, they're not, most of them aren't good, but they're not bad, they're just ships. They're designs, they're original looking.
The ones we're most interested in, we never really see.
Yeah, ever.
The ones that we see, like the one that was the USS Nog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, thank you. Those are great science vessels. I want to see real ships, please. You know.
It is weird how they just focused on those 3 or 4 to show on the online. Like, no, the other ones, please. They're more interesting and they're more classical. You got to imagine that they said, right, which ones can you show us? Okay, these ones have more model geometry because the other ones have like under 5,000 polygons. It's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, we don't. What do you mean? We don't see them in light. It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, yeah. It's like I saw a Pixelmondo visual effect breakdown of the Mandalorian, and you realize the Razor Crest has less detail than you think model-wise because it's done with textures and good lighting. So actually, it's less. As soon as you start seeing it without the paint, you're like, oh yeah, that's a flat surface. But when you add texture and grime and grit and all the lovely depth, it's all texture. So these ships are really simple because they don't need to be, but it would be nice if they were. Yeah.
Well, Trekkie Badger puts in 10 pounds. The last 60 seconds was bittersweet. For a few minutes, it felt like Star Trek, and knowing that they could have made a show like that, but chose not to, just makes me sad. Yeah, but they had, like we said, they had to correct Brian Fuller's fuck-ups, and then they had to get over the fact that season 2 had multiple producers and changed direction midstream a few times. Season 3 got their shit together, and they ended as they should have.
Started season 1.
Yeah. And then season 4 can be a, hey, we know what we're doing now, so here's Star Trek for you.
I just realized this when you mentioned that. There's some another layer to this, which is, if you recall, season 1, Brian Fuller's brought on. He writes the show Bible. He works on all the scripts. He does like versions of every single script. They get changed, obviously, but he has versions of all of them. He does all the art design. He's the reason for all of the art decisions of all the things. 100% him, right? Great, fine. He gets fired, I believe, in filming episode 1. And so episode 2, they use the same script. Episode 3, they change, and onwards, every script is now different. Right. But he leaves his co-people, his original second in commands, they're showrunners, who were then showrunning season 2 and got fired because they were so abusive to the staff and because they spent most of the show's budget in the first 3 episodes or 4 episodes. They were fired. It's a big thing, and being abusive is a bad thing. So those are Brian Fuller's lieutenants, and you can imagine, as soon as your old boss left, you're not going to undo all of his work. So while they had to kit bash season 1, season 2, they were still his people, and I'm sure they're going to have some, legacy connection to him. And so as soon as they leave, fired, we get the rest of season 2. But now you've put down a path, and Kurtzman takes over, and then Michelle Paradise takes over as writing for the last 2. This is the first season where it's not any of Brian Fuller's team's work.
Yeah.
Think about it that way, because you would imagine lieutenants would be a little bit respectful to his stuff. What do we get this season? New uniforms, new era, new art design, more faithful art design.
Yes.
Because you've got to imagine that Brian Fuller's team, who were also there approving stuff in season 1, may have said, oh, I love that Section 31 ship. It's too dark, but hey-ho. Like, all these things, it's the same minds.
Yeah. And Brian Fuller really fucked them for season 1 because it was his vision to not have cylindrical nacelles, to not look like whatever, and so they already had the sets built, that the uniforms done, shit like that. That was all the budget went into that. So you're left with all this stuff done, and the story you want to tell doesn't match what he wanted to tell, because that's why he got fired, because it wasn't Star Trek, and you have to use what you have, unfortunately. And if you look at it from that point of view, I mean, they did pretty good. Decided to make it not as good as they did, so. Well, it could have been worse.
It's an amazing Frankenstein series, because I hadn't even thought about that. It's a great perspective. They were stuck with a sarcophagus ship set. So, they're rewriting episodes 3 to 12, or 13 there to get 3 new ones because they fucked up so much. They're like, okay, we have to use this set because we paid $500,000 for it. Okay, we'll have this final fight at the end. Like, all these things. What do we have? We have these sets. Okay, we'll do this. and we have Lorca. We know we have the Mirror Universe stuff. We're starting building the sets. We have to do something like that. But I mean, it's such a thing. I would love to know how much of season 2 was, and we know it was rewritten a bit. But it'd be interesting to know how much was rewritten because of the original team. And that's also weird because the original how season 2 started was more explorative, more intriguing, but clearly got changed because something was lost in translation. And the last 2 episodes, they realized, oh no, we've got all these disconnected pieces we have to connect. Like one of the simple plot holes is when Michael Burnham's mum tells Spock in the past to send him the message that makes him go crazy, that makes him then go to the hospital, makes him go on the shuttle. She tells him about the red signals. Problem is, Michael Burnham's mum learns about the red signals from Pike and then loses her time suit when she finds out about the red signals. So she could never have gone back in time because she didn't know about the red signals. So it doesn't, like, there's even a plot hole as that simple, between 4 episodes. So there's just stuff that does not work.
Well, Reese York says, what do you gentlemen think about the new Trill physiology that a Trill past life can manifest itself as a hologram?
Yeah.
We just filmed a video about that, so you will see that soon.
This week,
we cover all of that.
Oh.
There's a discussion there. Plus, that's going to tie into our discussion about season 4
yes.
and where we think that's going. So,
but as a small tease, you say there, the new Trill physiology, she's not Trill, or they're not Trill, so there is no new Trill physiology. That's the important thing to keep note there. But yes,
in a human, yeah.
Please comment on that video, Rise, that we know you'd watched it. It'll come out in the next 2 or 3 days. We've already filmed a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, Jeff Jacobs, $2.15. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
200, sweet. The march to 300 continues. Hashtag make
yes.
Jeff pay.
Brilliant.
We're at 222, so 250 people here. Let's aim for 250. Let's aim high. Let's try to get to 250 with 250 here. We've done it before. We can do it again. We can maybe hit 300 even because people come and go. So
and I like Exago's comment. Since they use the TOS theme at the end of it, they should have used still images like in TOS. That would have been good. That would have been good. That would have been less random too. It's like, oh, we're going full old school. Yeah.
With the film grain and everything. No, just kidding.
Yeah. And then the 35mm flicker, etc. Yeah.
Enterprise Bees puts in $2.
Thank
you for covering all of the interests. You're welcome. We just love Star Trek, so we're going to talk about it regardless whether we agree with what they're doing or not, and just point out the good and bad in all of it.
But also, we don't love Star Trek at the inability to then be honest and fair. Some of the YouTubers out there are only going to be honest, and they have a hard time. They let go of all the bad stuff because they don't want to look at it. And where's the point in that? Because if you don't tell them what they did wrong as producers, they can't improve. And if you don't tell them what you like, they can't improve either. If you just love everything you do, it becomes an echo chamber. You don't get anywhere with an echo chamber.
If you hate everything they do, they tune you out and don't listen. So
yeah, it's like Chris Chibnall didn't watch any reviews for his Doctor Who, then he made another crap season of Doctor Who. It's like just didn't listen to any feedback, and there was a ton of it. Although obviously it's hard to find the consensus while you try and listen to, sane-minded people. It's like we said before, that Enterprise bridge at the end of season 2 of Discovery needs like 6 changes to be brilliant, but it's flawed, but 6 easy ways, But it's close, and that's not us saying it's bad. Just bit of a fix.
Happiest Gnome can't blame Patrick Stewart. He did not do more of the same. It must have sounded good in the pitch. Yeah, that went downhill. That's a whole other conversation.
Although you say that Happiest Gnome, but he did not know his character was dying until the week before they shot. So he obviously didn't know where the story was going, which means he wasn't involved in the writer's room as much as he thought, which means they had more reshoots than he thought, which means he wasn't making the show he thought he was making. And so we can't really blame anybody except the people behind the scenes because they were writing it. Clearly they didn't know what they were doing.
Who we can blame is Alex Kurtzman because he's an idiot. Zalo 9000. What was the point of Grey? Watch season 4 or watch our episode talking about that specific topic coming up soon.
Although, as a simple tease, Grey is there to give Adira something extra. It's a new character. It's what's our only real perspective character for this future. This person can relate to the future like we can't. A genius mechanical engineer, we assume, that can be useful, and this gives them something else rather than just being on the ship saying, "Yes, sir, I'll do this, sir." You know, and assuming they've got an end game will be interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Squadra, of course, $2. They should have said yes to Seth MacFarlane. I agree. He wanted to, helm a new Star Trek show back when there was no Star Trek, and they said no. So he went and made his own show. And I would like to see what he would do with Star Trek. He is a Star Trek fan. He was in Enterprise. So I would have liked to see what he did with it. If it was similar to what he did with Orville, it would have been like, but then people would have complained, it's more of the same. So no matter what, people aren't going to be happy.
You say that, but Mandalorian, everyone's happy. So you can make...
No, they're not. They're not, though.
Well,
the majority's happy. Yeah.
But that's what you want. You want the majority. You want almost universal. As we see on our like-dislike ratio, as long as you get like 90%, that's great. Discovery is hugely controversial. Each season less so. Picard was more or less controversial, but Mandalorian is almost universally liked because it works. It's successful. It's, I think the fact that we saw Lower Decks be so good and went way further than I think Seth MacFarlane would have gone, I'll be honest. Because I wouldn't necessarily want to see Seth humour as Star Trek, but he would do less than Lower Decks guy would,
I'm not thinking of humor, though, for him. I think if he was given us the Star Trek show to do Star Trek, he
would do it differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends what his story would be as well. Because he's a clever guy, but he'd want a really good, strong narrative. Like, he'd be in full control, have a full arc. I don't know.
Yeah, well... And honestly, the reason this Mandalorian is such a hit and makes everybody so happy is because it's fixing all the fuck-ups that Disney made with the 3 new movies. So could Discovery be the fuck-up that needs to be fixed at some point to get the Star Trek that is equivalent to the Mandalorian? Who knows? There's always got to be some kind of stumbles and falls, bumps in the road before it's not always smooth sailing. So think of it that way. Maybe Discovery needed to happen. Sure, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but...
Well, nothing can be,
No.
But there is still a core fan base that you can still appeal to. And why you should always want new fans. If you alienate the old fans, what have you gained? The J.J. Abrams films, they appeal to the new they appeal to new people. But every film, they had less people going to the cinema because they appeal to new fans, broke a lot of old fans. The new fans are the generic audience member that pays to see lots of movies every year, and then once they walk away, they're not going to buy toys, they're not going to buy a streaming service, they might not even buy a Blu-ray or DVD, whereas a fan of Star Trek will do all those things and buy a uniform. And so you start hurting the audience each time with very few coming back. Obviously you get some people coming into it, which is great, but if you make the films good in the first place, then it doesn't matter if it's new or old, people enjoy it.
Yeah. Sinan Fletcher puts in $2.
Thank you.
Grudge is a descendant of the Doctor on Lower Decks. Possibly. It's like Cat from
Red Dwarf.
You're a dwarf, yeah. I think couldn't think of the name there for a second.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But Stuart, let's go back to the idea of the did it stick the landing? How could the season have been better? How could it have made the landing more successful, do you think? And guys, let us know in the chat as well, because we both agree it does stick the landing for the most part, but how could it have been better?
I think it could have been better by incorporating the Disco crew with new Starfleet earlier on, by giving them the uniforms, having some exchange programs, have some Discovery people over on Starfleet headquarters or other Starfleet ships learning about the new tech, the new history that they need to learn about. Having a liaison from the future on Discovery as the XO instead of Tilly. Like, there's a lot of little things like that. And for fuck's sakes, don't show us the turbolift caverns. We don't care. Stop it. That's another thing they could have not done. Close the shuttle bay door every once in a while would be sweet as well. Small little things like that. But overall, I think, yes, they needed to mix the old crew with the new crew, have new crew on some newer ships, maybe see what the rest of Starfleet's doing. Because I hate that it's all insular, like, this is Discovery. Yes, great. I want to see a Discovery character in the future dealing with future people on a future ship. See that situation cut back to Discovery, go back and forth. Like
It
I
almost
think
feels like
that's
they're being kept apart.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like ooh, you got leprosy.
Yeah,
Stay over there.
you're from the past. Ugh. I mean, technically, they are all time criminals. Technically,
Professional.
Yeah, that's true.
technically, you know.
That is true. So I think something like that, just incorporating and giving a bigger feel for the universe. Yeah, yeah, we got the ramifications that Starfleet hasn't been able to travel, hasn't been able to fix things. But I want to see what they are doing. Sure, we get a meeting here and there, like Captain So and So go do this, Captain So and So go do that. But plus, we want to see the ships. We want to see the new ships in a little more detail, things like that. Like, I think that would have been more appealing to me. But overall, I'm happy with what they did. But I think small little things like that would have been a great improvement. Especially, and it gave new opportunities for storytelling, conflict, drama, introduced us to new characters. You know,
Let's be more specific there for a second, because I like your answer obviously, but you jumped into the whole season. How just for this, take all the pieces from the 12 episodes beforehand though, just for the last episode. How would you improve the last episode just with the pieces we were given? Like, how would it be a stick landing with what we were given? Obviously, Turbolift being the big thing, but let's take that out of the equation for a second.
yeah, Turbolift and computer core can all be redone and shortened. That's the first thing. I want Zora to play a bigger part if it is the sphere data and the artificial intelligence, which they tried pushing in one of the episodes as, here, I want to take care of the crew. Here's a movie night. Like, it didn't translate to her saving Oa. You know, it's like, whatever. Most droids would probably be programmed with that ability.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
No, you're right. And these are 31st century AI. Like, they're going to be conscious enough to save crew members. That's good. That's fine. Yeah. That's actually a great point. And I think it was definitely a mistake to show that early on, because you set it up and you don't pay it off. You know, you shouldn't have a 27 episode arc of the ship being sentient to only appear 4 times. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Doesn't quite, because every episode we're expecting it and nothing happens. Okay, so more Zora. Any specific way it would help? Or...
Well, I would have liked more issues with the Orion operating system. Like, instead of just one piece of, one ancient movie that couldn't be removed, so they just shut it off. Like, I wanted more Osiris crew getting fucked with every step of the way by the ship, or the ship helping out the crew and not knowing why, because a lot of people would have forgotten that story arc. Or even just the dot droids being able to access and just be more helpful. Like, they were just cannon fodder, unfortunately. So that was a big sticky thing for me. Other than that, the last episode was really great. The only thing that really sucked was the whole TARDIS thing and the fight scene. It was too long in the middle, took me out of it, and it was just not necessary. So that's kind of where I stand with that. I don't know what else I would fix necessarily, but I think the artificial intelligence, the sphere data, was an important aspect that needed to be explored a little bit better. So,
and that's one thing that, unlike the grey stuff, where it's clearly a gentle build, that one feels like they dropped the ball. They didn't know how to pay it off or not pay it off. But don't give us an expectation of, they're going to come save the day. Oh. Nah, joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, do some super chats, and I'll say how I got off the top of my head, change the, stick the landing style.
Ooh, okay. Barry Renshaw, 5 pounds.
Thank you.
Hi, gents. Keep up great work. Do you think we'll see more moral dilemma episodes like Measure of a Man or Duet in the Dark, in the Pale Moonlight in Discovery? Yeah, that's what I would like to see. Again, I want to see season 4 be exploring. Run into a problem of the week, fix it, move on.
And
And I honestly, I think. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Honestly, I think we're going to get a lot of those moral dilemmas once Zora becomes more of an issue. Once we get that artificial intelligence trying to assert itself or, want to grow, it's going to become should we let it? And I think, yeah, that's going to be the moral dilemma of that anyway. Yeah, I'm done.
what was the first thing you said? I was reading the chat. I'm just going to look at something you just said. Moral dilemma. Before that, it was...
problem of the week.
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to see
some
exploration.
Yeah, I think one thing they easily do and not break the formula at all, obviously have an arc out the whole show, but all you have to do is have them spore jump to a planet they haven't been to in 90 years every week, help fix the planet with varying degrees of problems, and each one you help to build the Federation. Boom. I think that episodic feel will be. I think this season felt quite episodic personally. I think it works because each one is distinct for the most part. Distinct. You know, you got the Equation episode, you got the Burnham episode, you got the book episode. You know, I think that's better than season 1 for sure. But I mean, yeah, it's rife for just going to explore a planet that we haven't seen in so long. You know, well, maybe they say we could really do with a source of Ocampan crystals. Could you quickly jump to Ocampan in the Delta Quadrant and see how it's going? And there's there's Kess, like a Kess from the future, because she'd lived 1,000 years. Well, it's like stuff like that you could then, because they could go anywhere in the universe or the galaxy, so you could have callbacks to any of the shows, like we did have in Picard with the thing.
We got a ship incoming. Go investigate. It's showing a Federation signature. Hey, look, it's the Doctor from Living Witness, just coming back.
Yeah,
that would be a fantastic episode.
And I'll be honest, we should see Rob Picardo in Star Trek Picard as Dr. Louis Zimmerman, holographic engineer, and Rob Picardo as EMH Mark 6 in Star Trek Lower Decks, and Rob Picardo as the EMH brackets aged in Star Trek Discovery. Do it! I want to see 3 and Rob Picardo starring Dr. Elias Zimmerman, Zimmerman's predecessor, one of the first holo engineers in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Ooh. And, of course, Rob Picardo playing the EMH Mark 1, aka Joe, in Star Trek Prodigy, who is a guest cameo to help Janeway and her crew of people. Rob Picardo, all 5 shows.
You could be in a holographic interrogator in Section 31 show.
Well, that's a bit far. But do you know what I mean? Wow. Like, actually, those shows specifically work. You could have literally 5 versions of Picardo playing. That'd be great.
Yeah. Mike WPG, $5. They need to create a new series for the Temporal War. Agents sent throughout the Star Trek timeline to fix incursions. Ooh, that would be an awesome show. I would totally be on board for that. And no, listen, Jericho, no Andy Dick. No. But yeah, I would totally be on board for a temporal agent show. That'd be great.
I mean, we've talked about that in general. I mean, there's such a lot. I mean, the whole thing has potential, and then their current lineup doesn't sound the worst. Prodigy sounds more interesting now. Strange New Worlds has all the potential in the world. Or they need to change the art design to be more like TOS, just modernized. But I mean, they're if Discovery Season 3 is an indication that they are moving away from the Discovery Brian Fuller art design, I would be shocked if they doubled down on that for Strange New Worlds, given they're not going to use the same sets. So why would you build, you're not going to reuse Discovery corridors for your brand new flagship show. You're going to build new corridors, It's just, it's like, why do stuff that going to piss off most of the fan base? Just build the corridor from TOS and modernize it. Boom. Easy. Really easy. And then, you know what, Stuart? You make it twice as big. And so suddenly, fans like us, you see that classic, it'll be the same dimensions. You see that classic walk from the turbolift. But Stuart, they keep walking into another part of the corridor. We're like, oh, there's more corridor. It's now even a longer shot. Brilliant. Love it. I'm going to pop out for 1 second because my headphones are starting to not work. Don't know why, so I'll see you in 1 minute.
Cool. So, bring back Robert Picardo. Hashtag bring back Robert Picardo. There you go. There's a Twitter one for you guys. Go do that. Hashtags are stupid, but that's okay. Because, getting him back, as the Doctor from Living Witness would be really interesting, considering that was his goal. He was going to head towards the Alpha Quadrant. So it'd be cool to see how that plays out. So kind of with Samuel on that one, he could be incorporated into each show and be done well, I think. So, let's just sit here and stare at Samuel when he comes back. That's a good idea.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, good. Yeah, my left ear just stopped working on these mid this conversation. I was like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Blake, I ache. Whatever. £5. Did you want a longer arc between Burnham being Saru's first officer and seeing them work together properly like Riker and Picard, and more Voyager J? I would have liked to have seen them work together a little bit more, yeah, because we saw how contentious the relationship was in season 1. So, and more Voyager J, just, yeah, unequivocally, yes. We've got a reference to it twice in the last episode, so, you know, that could be a thing as well. The new Voyager season or show.
And subscribe to this channel says CBS doesn't have enough money to have 2 separate sets for such similar shows. Well, they're not similar shows because one's set in the 31st century, one's set in the 2400s, so they're totally different shows.
Yep.
So no, and you assess a budget, you assign a budget to your show of many millions, and you build all your sets, and you have bottle shows. Yes, they have enough money. They're not gonna curse their new show with a third of the budget of their old show, given this show is the one fans asked for. Then in fact they give more money to the show, but you've got to consider they want investors. The show's set aboard the Enterprise with Pike and Spock. Is a sure thing in terms of investment compared to Discovery, etc. So yes, of course they have the money, and of course they'll build them because they also want to have control. Imagine if both shooting teams had to shoot on the same sets. Imagine if Discovery had to modify them to look future, and then Pike had to remodify them to look older, and both in the same week. It's just not what happens.
Subscribe to this channel says, but they both have bridges and both have corridors of the same size. Well, the Enterprise bridge is completely different.
Yeah. I mean, and the corridors are the same. That's why they're the same size. But they're not going to use the same corridors because why would they? And we don't even know if they're filming in Toronto. I don't believe they've said necessarily. If they have, wouldn't necessarily be on the exact same lot necessarily. Like be a building over, because you tend to want to have a self-contained set of stuff. I mean, in Voyager and DS9 shot like next to each other, but they rarely maybe the makeup department shared a thing, but like the actors barely went to each other's sets. They were busy. You know, they're the same yet separate. But yeah, it's very different shows, and the art design will be very, very different. And I wouldn't say Discovery set looks anything like the bridge looks anything like the Enterprise bridge. They're totally different.
Totally different. Yeah, absolutely. Squadron Course $5 has rules and visions for its world. Changing those later is what makes old fans mad. Mando explores the world without breaking rules. Yes. Show us how 70s style Imperial Star Destroyer consoles look, and how the interior of an X-Wing looks as it's supposed to look. Yes, I 1000% agree with you, sir.
Yeah, as we said, Into No Darkly looks way more up to date, and you just take one more layer of snazzy paint. Yeah. It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy, but it's like the not well. I mean, the phase is a good example of a good cage, pre-cage, or post-cage, pre-TOS phaser because it combines both. It looks nice. Communicator, if the communicator wasn't so flat, it'd be a perfectly nice prequel version, you know. But I guess it looks more to cage. There are certain elements that are very, very close, and certain elements that are just so wrong. It's like their tack vests. Where's that come from? That's not anything Star Trek. You know, never used before or after. Clearly, it hasn't come from anywhere. You know,
I could see it evolved from Mako, but then it doesn't translate into anything else really.
Yeah. So by definition, it's a failed design. Like they can introduce stuff that but then it was never ever used again. I mean, yes, you could argue they never used tack vests, but there's a reason they didn't. So therefore, they didn't use them anymore. You know, like John Vance said, canon is still canon, and the Enterprise did change from 225 meters to 480 back to 225 in the course of 2 years. Go put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Dumb. Eugene, 500 rubles.
Thank you. Good to see.
Well, they didn't flop the landing. On the other hand, they didn't stick it either. Still, Michael Burnham show. Still, multiple plot lines are not resolved. And don't even get me started on the Turbo TARDIS. Yeah, Turbo TARDIS we agree with. The plot lines that are not resolved are not threads like in Picard that just went nowhere. They're ones that are going to be explored in season 4. I'm pretty sure most of the ones that we talked about for Picard couldn't be brought up in season 2 of Picard because they'll be totally irrelevant at this point.
Gone past it, yeah.
Yeah, but the gray thing that can carry over, no problem. There's the plot that you're talking about can be resolved next season.
There's only 13 episodes where the universe is way more important than the characters in the sense of these grander times, but they're putting little bits here and there and here and there and here and there, you know. And I think there's something they're going for with Grey anyway. You wouldn't set that up without some sort of payoff in mind. You know, it's such a complicated, intricate, weird thing. You know,
Yeah.
having your dead ex-lover inside your brain as a hallucination isn't exactly an average thing to show in Trek. It's never been done that way. You know, like when Ezri had that one time finding the murderer Dax, like that was a massive deal, and it was a full episode about it, and it was fully clever and blah blah. You know.
But the gray thing is a very sci-fi element, and could have a very sci-fi Star Trek solution. So it'll be a good payoff in that regard. Yes. Hunter 1 AR 2 pounds. First contribution. Great job. Season 4 is canceled. No, season 4 is not canceled. They are filming it. So
they're filming for weeks.
Yes. I was talking to Anthony Rapp, who was on set at the time when he was talking to me. So yeah.
But it is quite fun. They're filming while that other season's releasing. That's not really how you know, because if you recall with Voyager, they were filming like 3 episodes ahead while they were editing and releasing the other one, because they had such a schedule because of VFX and such, which actually shows how quick they can be to make depending how you do. Like Rick Sternberg's like a 2-week turnaround from sketch to finished miniature, and then it's being filmed, and then it's in the show, and then you start prepping the next show. Also, you do the pre-production. Like, it takes months to write, or it takes weeks to write scripts and months, whatever, but filming. But obviously for those shows, they're filming like 9 months a year or 8 months a year, because 26 shows. You know, because if it takes 2 weeks to make a show, 2 weeks, 26 shows, there you go. Takes a long time. And also this one has like many more months of VFX, etc. in it. You know, although obviously they're still doing that in lockdown, etc. As in, but is it? I don't think I've ever heard that where they're filming the next season while the other one's coming out. It certainly wasn't the case with season 2. Like, there's a big deal of filming season 3 now. And it's like, great, we're waiting for ages.
Yeah.
But I guess obviously they're delayed with. Even though delayed the coronavirus, they were going to film even earlier, if not, probably. Huh.
Well, Hunter 1, thank you very much for contributing. Appreciate that.
It does make a difference. Because as now, with the end of Picard, end of Discovery, we expect our super chats to go down. It's fine. Everything's free. So if you want to help us to know we can keep going, we want to keep going until the next show, and just, we enjoy what you guys say. Because you guys have the good ideas. We're just the mouthpieces. I mean, not really, but yes, really.
Jarzia, $5.
Thank
At
you.
least Sahil got justice. Booker hopped up on adrenaline was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Did they really get rid of Saru to make Michael Burnham captain? Not bad. Too bad Non left. Well, now that they have dilithium, they can pick Non up. She's visited with her family and her planet, whatever.
Well, we don't know that. I don't believe they actually said how long the mission was. The shit to follow through on.
Oh, the seed ship. Yeah.
Like, she's probably still there waiting, but they could easily find another one to fill the gap.
Well, she said she'd finish the mission and then go visit her planet for a while, so she can always come back at some point.
Yeah, and they could obviously retcon say it was only a 3-month mission and now it's done.
3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. Did they really get rid of Saru to make Burnham captain? Yeah, but he'll be back. He's going to be back in season 4. So I don't know what they're going to do with that. But yeah, that's interesting.
Now, actually, I don't think I actually asked you that last time, but when you watched the episode, did you genuinely think, oh, Saru's gone, Doug Jones is out of the show?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know why people keep saying, oh my god, they got rid of Saru. It's like, no, he's a fan favourite character. Like, he's taking a leave for a specific reason. Like, he's not gone. Don't know why anyone thought he wouldn't be in season 4.
Even said in dialogue, he's going to go visit, help Sakal on the planet after this rounds of negotiations, but he'll take his time, he'll be back, kind of thing. Yeah. I forget exactly what the dialogue was.
Pretty close to that, and something. They really said that something at the end as well. Yeah, I can see it very much like they want to give Burnham a 3-episode intro mission that's really complicated and big, and she kind of fails a little bit, but saves some people, and then Saru comes in, takes command, she's given another mission, boom, great. It's like Tilly, give her the role for a certain amount of time, and then move forward.
What's going to happen? Discovery's going to get something's going to happen. They're going to be down and out, and the last second the ship's going to come in. It's going to be Saru, and you're like, "What, Saru?" Let's be like episode 4. Kind of forgotten about him.
No, Stuart, it'll be Captain Riker.
Yes,
Hollow Riker.
Jeffrey Jacobs, 262.
Thank you.
262, nice. 300, 300. We can hashtag make Jeff pay. 269 likes, guys. Hit that like if you haven't, please. Let's get up to 275 at least. 6 more likes. Hit it.
Ooh, but we're getting real close there, guys. But Dakota asks, what's worse, Star Trek 5 or Star Trek Discovery?
Star Trek Discovery Season 1. Star Trek 5 is guilty pleasure. I kind of like a lot of aspects of Star Trek 5. So
Yeah, Star Trek 5 is heavily, heavily flawed, but has some good ideas.
yeah.
But it kind of spends a lot of time on really weird things and has a really lot of problem scenes, but has some really good scenes. It's a really weird movie.
And the turbolift scene in Star Trek 5 is much better than any turbolift scene in Discovery. So it's worth saying.
Yeah, and it's sad because I listened to the autobiography of Shatner, and like he really was trying. I don't think it was because of his lack of direction. Like I think he's a pretty good director. If he had like a third more money and not all the shit he had to deal with, I think it would have been a better film. Which of course is for any film, a better thing. But the script is pretty good. There's things, and I think even like and actually, you know what, Stuart? I'm gonna go on a limb. If it was 30 minutes longer.
What's Star Trek 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have helped for sure.
Shall I elaborate?
Sure. I'm just thinking.
Because
I know you got screwed budget-wise, so...
Yeah. Well, it's because they spend so much time on Nimbus, and that it's like a long time. It's cool. They're quickly off Nimbus, and then it's like they rush the rest of the film a little bit. But imagine if they had more time with Cybok on the Enterprise, traveling, maybe like a Die Hard situation that was interesting, more time with the secondary crew. Are they actually working with him or not? Let them develop. Have some scenes where we actually see like Uhura's pain, and we get a really great flashback to her in the academy, and Sue's pain, his mother. Do you want a
softcore Scotty and Uhura scene?
Oh, hardcore.
Because that came out of
silhouette core. They're full on meat munching, or meat pounding, just silhouetted.
Oh wow.
No, I don't. But also you make the god bit longer as well. You have them like search for him. They like are given clues, and they have to find a place. And then you get then like I would have Cybok start more villainous, end more relatable, and Spock grow to love him as a brother at the end, and then lose him like way more peaks and troughs. I think.
Kirk Solo, Trekyards, this deserves its own video. How to make Star Trek 5 good. We could do one for every movie. How would we make it different?
Yeah.
Either better or worse. So Samuel, going back to what we were talking about.
Oh God. Yes.
Season 3. What would you have changed?
God,
in the
yeah.
last episode. That's kind of where we were before we got into the super chats.
See, you guys make us talk about everything.
So let us know.
Well, I would have. Oh God. I would have had them. I would have had them be taken by the Viridian first. I would have had Burnham disable warp engines, like straight away, or the side crew disable them straight away. And they're in the Viridian warping away. I'd have had a sequence where the fleet actually attacking the Viridian for a good chunk of time while Discovery's inside. Make that connect a bit more as a reason for them to escape. I would have had the secondary crew actually do something important rather than just their simple thing. I would have had them all do something like Tilly actually gives them real orders, like show her captaincy, like Washington, you disable artificial gravity, you do this, and if any one of us succeed, we'll take them off guard. And if you all succeed, that'll let the dots do their thing, But in the end, they all get foiled because of the secondary villain guy. Like he's actually outsmarted them, which is quite incredible. But he's like, future guy, whatever. He's fine. I wouldn't have had the lady die. Wouldn't have had her. And actually, Kurt Wolski did say she may not be dead because, we see the other guy die in a specific way and she's only shot.
She got shot in the head.
Yeah, but he can be stunned in the head. I mean, so did the scientist guy. He got stunned in the face.
Yeah, but his head wasn't smoking on the floor.
It could be a gentle tan smoke, just a bit of. You don't know how Orions look when they're stunned by heavy. But you know what I mean. Like there was no ceremonious death. Oh look, they died. No one said at any point afterwards. I guess Burnham did. Well, okay, Burnham did, but I mean, I don't know. I thought it was interesting because it was such an unceremonious death. Have her not die would be much better. That entire fight be removed. 2-on-2 fight would make much more sense. Have Book introduces doing spore jump right away, like right at the start. Maybe have the scientist guy tell Osira that he could do it, or something. Or maybe even Stamets tell, Stamets says, I have to be back on the ship. No, it's okay, Mr. Stamets, they haven't got anyone to do a spore drive. Oh no, they do. Book's on that ship. What? I think he can do it too. Oh shit, we gotta, you know, a bit of connection there, set up a little bit better.
Yes. That needed more time.
Definitely the warp core fix that scene for sure.
Oh yes. Oh.
Just do that a little bit different, or it's still a good idea. Just do it a bit different. And also have their ship get really fucked, like have when they're being shot at from the inside, have them like lose hull plating, like the ship's getting absolutely just like really effed up, and the cells get blown apart. So the spore, maybe they say divert all power to protecting the spore tech, so the saucer, and then the cells get destroyed, the shell bay gets destroyed, like really blown apart, but they can still spawn.
So there's only a saucer left, and they have to rebuild a new ship.
And the neck and the secondary hull, like it's still a chunk, but the back's basically destroyed. Yeah, and they spore in, they rescue them, they spore out, and they get to Federation Starbase and they say, "Hey, we did a good job, but the ship needs another refit to survive." And then you get the tease that, you know, the bridge is under refit, and we don't end them on the bridge, we end them at the starbase. Like, everyone getting the uniforms, a little medal, maybe, like saying, "Well done, you guys did good." Kind of like Star Trek 3. And then, you know, like a nice moment of Vance saying, "Well done, everybody." Yeah. There's some things I might do. I don't know if any of them sound good. I don't know. What do you think?
Most of them sounded good. I completely forgot about the warp core ejection and all that when I was going through mine. But yeah, there's definitely things that could be done differently there. And yes, give Book more time as to figuring out how that works with the spore jump thing. Like the way it was executed was shitty, beyond shitty, and not thought out, and the dumbest plan ever. Eject the core. We're going to die in 30 seconds. Oh, by the way, you need to do this thing you've never done before.
Oh, yeah.
That was really... That bothered me a lot.
And
that was just dumb.
And we didn't even get a moment where, like, the things happen on his head, and he's like all his... Like, it would have been great if his entire body started resonating with, like all his fingers had the power. Like, he's now really, like, psyched into it. Like, that would have been impressive. Not just like, doo-loo-loo, hey, we jumped. Okay, yeah, Mr. Special, what do you want? You know. Yeah.
Captain Chili Beana, $2. Here's for Saru as captain of Voyager J. There you go. And TXR Way, I don't know, £10. Still can't watch Discovery after the shambles of season 1 and all the things they still get wrong or mutilate. Do you think that they can actually pull off Strange New Worlds as proper Trek? I'm hoping so, especially considering they do an episodic format, and I hope it has a different feel to Discovery. I hope it's bright. I hope it's optimistic. I hope it's episodic, like problem of the week. If they do those few things, I think people will be on. It'll be like the difference between Voyager and DS9. DS9 was the dark one. Voyager was more exploratory, uppity, you know. So I hope so.
Well, shows tend to be a reaction to a reaction. You know, Lower Decks was so different to everything else, and it's great. Discovery's a reaction, so is season 2, etc. You know, I mean, they're learning lessons. You know, they're learning to get better all the time. But you know, you can't tell producers to change all their ideas because they'll get insulted. But you can tweak them over time or fire them, and they fired them instead. You know, but the fact is, what do we see? 3 different showrunners on Picard, Discovery, and Lower Decks, and they're radically different shows with radically different vibes. And clearly, the writers of you know. On season 1 of Picard, like, thought they were clever, wasn't quite clever, etc. Did not stick that landing. I know there were rewrites. I know they lost 2 episodes and invented 2 episodes. You know, that messed anything up. But they should have known better, or like, you know, cut down story arcs, etc. You know, editing's important. But in terms of the showrunner, if the showrunner's a Trekkie that understands it, you're gonna get good stuff, because you know the cast get it. And Bright's a good example. You know, turn down the bridge, remove the corridor, set it 2 years in the future, or even a year. Like, because it got refit at the end of the episode. And you know, look at Star Trek 5 compared to Star Trek 4, different bridge. So we're not gonna fuss too much if they suddenly has a different bridge for Strange New Worlds. That's fine. You know, bring it in line a bit more. Maybe that showrunner won't like their version. Like Justin Lin didn't like the Enterprise J or the JJ Enterprise Destroyed It. Didn't like it. You know, that's fine.
Yeah, cut its neck. Yeah.
Well, listen, Jericho, Voyager felt more dark than DS9 to me. Well, you're the only one, sir. Wow. Never heard that before.
The odd episode here and there, maybe, yeah, but... Yeah.
I've never heard that from anybody.
Well, Eugene throws in 400 rubles, so thank you. I think they're still having problems with the scale of things. Yet again, we got pan-galactic catastrophe, the burn, and the reason is so small. Would be fine for a couple of system sectors, not the whole galaxy or universe. Honestly, we don't know if it's the whole universe. That's ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. The whole galaxy I would buy, but I kind of like that that was the explanation for it. It's fine. Something so small cause something so big. That's a Star Trek. So I have no issue with that. I think that was actually handled very well, and I'm glad they did that, because if it would have been a big baddie or a plan that somebody had,
Stuart, it was the
stabilize
Borg.
the Federation. Oh, fuck off.
Stuart, it was the Romulans. Stuart, it's 847
It was the Remans.
It was Remans. I think in terms of it being, guys, I think we're absolutely going to get the gentle retcon, even though it really isn't. They didn't go into too much detail in Season 4, that once they can start exploring and have the sensor network back online, they'll say, oh no, the burn only went 33,000 light years. It just happened to be smack dab in the middle of the Alpha Quadrant, and therefore it affected everything we know. Delta Quadrant's been fine for the last 120 years. The Gamma Quadrant is mostly fine, and the edges of our quadrant are fine. The fact is, you can't get places, and you can't communicate with places.
So you can't find out the scope, because you don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Now, obviously, yes, you may be able to warp at this point from the Delta Quadrant to the Gamma, very, very quickly, fine. But they said everywhere is running out of dilithium, so the run out of dilithium is still a problem. So imagine you've only got so many resources, and then suddenly you stop getting contact from the Alpha Quadrant. If it's going to take you this many years to travel across space because dilithium is so run out, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean O'Neill says the burn could have been a natural disaster instead. Well, yeah, it was a natural disaster.
In essence, yeah. As close
because
to.
she was pregnant at the time. It changed in utero. It's linked to the planet. I mean, it makes sense. It was a one-off natural disaster, pretty much. There's different things they could have done for the burn. It would have been great if somebody was trying to cross over from another universe, another dimension, whatever, or the use of red matter in the Kelvin universe linked somehow to the burn. They could have done something like that, which would have been very convoluted and
convoluted.
But they didn't. They did something that would have been an episode of TNG, but it would have been an episode. It would have been resolved at the end, and like I said, a system-wide dilithium, something like that. Like it's very much a TNG plot. So
I like your reference of red matter. Like, we would have cringed at that, but the call for me is more of a okay,
cool.
Like, no one's gonna love it, but it's a very, very simple thing. But as we'd said, the irony about it is, yes, he accidentally caused, in essence, a genocide in terms of like but his mum also found a planet that will restart the galaxy. So it's a reset button at the same time.
Yep.
And because we're far enough away, we're 5 generations away. Remember, and in fact, Michelle Paradise said this in one of interviews, that the whole reason Vance is who he is when he is because he's post-burn. He was born post the burn. He's always lived in this world, and that's a perspective that is different. And so it's an interesting thing to relate to that, because this is a historical event that we still feel repercussions of, but every planet has recovered from in their own way. So planets are still doing their own thing, and now they've moved on. But it's about bringing this new world together. It's interesting. If it was 10 years ago, fine. 5 generations, long time.
And think about his excitement and wonder at season 5 or season 4, where they're going to these places that he's never seen. He gets to try real apple. It'd be cool the first time we see Admiral Vance in the next season. You just get a shot of the door of his office, and then a close up out of focus. Focuses on him taking a big bite of an apple, putting his feet up on the desk. And Michael Burnham comes through the door and he's like, these real apples really do taste different, or something, something small like that. He's exploring a new universe essentially, and he's got that thrill of and wonder of excitement that the Federation's always invoked in people.
Well, it's a whole different universe for him. He's going to be able to be CNC of a genuine Federation rather than a putting out fires we can barely get ships to place. That's going to be so interesting. And guarantee he's going to be a lot softer next season. And I love your analogy of the apple there. That would be a tremendous payoff in many different ways. But what I would love to see, because the eating the apple reminds me of the JJ arsehole maneuver. Every arsehole, because he's not paying attention. What I would love to see is, you're right, what are those scenes? Burnham beams in, she's like, do you know, he's like, "Shh, come in," walks in because they've got new offices because it's new season, more budget, whatever. And he's got a plate, knife and fork, and he's slicing up an apple, and he's eating it because he's like, this is a brilliant moment, and he's. But Captain Burnham, Admiral Vance, have you ever had a real apple, right? They're delicious. She's like, yes, sir. I've had real apples.
54 different varieties. You got to try them all.
That's a soup reference, isn't it?
No. It's just there's a lot of different apples. I just pulled the number out of the air.
I thought you were referencing Voyager with Tom Paris and the chicken soup.
Oh no, but that's good. Yeah, I was. I was so clever.
I just watched that. So, but wouldn't that be a nice thing? Because for her, that's a great perspective shift. It's like this is the first time I read an apple, and she, obviously, like, I wasn't born on Earth, but you know, that's sweet, and that's a good payoff. That's a good payoff. Although you might end up having the twist that he likes the apple of shit apples better.
Yeah,
because
there's still something. There's still something about what I grew up with. You know? Yeah, absolutely.
And arguably, as you've actually said before in Replica episodes, the computer is designed to make a perfect X, Y, or Z. Like, you get the variation, so it's different, but it may actually be worse. I mean, we've all had a bad apple, and but it's that randomness of it that's interesting. So that'd be kind of fun, actually, if he's like, I prefer the classic one.
We'll talk about that when we do our live talk about season 4, what we'd like to see, what might happen.
But guys, we are we're $19 away from a beautiful round number and 14 likes as we start to close out. I really think we can make it. So $19, help us out. We're right there.
Well, Andrew K throws in $2. In season 4, I hope turn up the brightness so we can see. That's been the problem with Discovery and Mandalorian. Mandalorian was also really dark. When we got the screen caps, Samuel had to up the brightness so you could see the detail.
Oy. Yeah.
But yeah. It's just modern storytelling, unfortunately. They desaturate the color in movies and stuff, and I don't know why they do it.
Yeah, I always tend to up the saturation, all the Discovery stuff as well. Looks a little bit nicer to me.
Oh, there's a comment about gelato. They better tell us if the gelato is made. It would be cool to see like a gelato machine with like the soft serve and it's brown.
Oh, you ruined it.
Anywho, Captain Chili Bean at $5. Thanks for 23 weeks of new Trek reviews. I'm especially looking forward to DS9 reviews in the off season. You guys are wonderful. Live long and prosper. Well, thank you very much.
Very kind.
And yeah, we'll be mixing up the reviews. You guys get a variety of things. So
yeah, because my personal hope was that when TNG reached DS9 point, we would then be able to split into that as well because it's chronological and things cross over. That was my personal hope, but I think when we're getting close to that anyway, I think it was pretty much the end of season 4 anyway. And then may just like do Voyager at the same time to kind of have them absolutely. It's not exactly meant to be parallel, but it's close enough to parallel. I mean, the only really parallel episodes are the Pathfinder ones and the Prometheus one. But since the Dominion War happens until season 7 anyway of DS9, like that season's they're still in Dominion War anyway.
Yeah.
Raz, apples made of shit. Yes.
And I'm still vaguely annoyed people thought that was a reveal. It's like, guys,
you've been saying that for fucking years.
Everyone, you ask anybody who worked on the show.
It's in the technical manual for TNG, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Jeff Jacobs, $2. I gotta go. Paying on faith for 300. # don't let me down. Well, we're at 296. We're 4 away from 300, which is amazing. So awesome job, guys. Viran Victus. Great name. $1 with a sleepy, snoozy, snoring face. Sorry, are we putting you to sleep? Should we go now?
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to get quite tired.
I'm burned out and my back's killing me, and I gotta go eat some food. So.
But to be fair, Stuart, it's been a really good live. I've been really happy with this.
Yes, absolutely.
Great conversation, great chat, really great ideas, great super chats. You guys are kicking butt.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll be and we'll come along. I think we're gonna do 5 lives this week just to kind of celebrate the end of Discovery, and then like you said, do the retrospective drunk one on Saturday. That's gonna be a lot of fun as we rewatch every episode on our free time. Come back in, re-review them, talk about how they all made sense or not. Go by through them, and obviously you help us get more and more drunker. So, thank you, Kirk. And so therefore, hopefully, you can get us so drunk that when we get back around to talk about the turbolifts, again, you'll get the full drunk rant. But that's not up to us. That's up to you.
300 likes. We hit 300 likes. Woohoo!
Super, super, super.
Well, and I think we also hit all of our goals there.
Good.
So thank you so much, guys. Yeah, tune in for lives this week. It's 5 days. God damn. All right. Well, we'll see. Can't believe I agreed to that. Maybe I'll have to take one day off.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You were like
We'll
right
see.
on it as well. I was like, oh, okay. He said yes. Oh, okay.
Should have asked me other things at the time if I was saying yes.
Yeah. Do you love me?
Yeah.
Oh, I said
maybe.
yeah. He said yeah. See? I caught the right moment. He said that.
I'm
Said
tired.
automatically.
I
I
got-
know.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have yourselves a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. So until then, he's got a Foley.
And he's Commander Calkins. And we are Team Trekyards.
Team Trekyards. Bye, guys.